episode is about the Milwaukee cannibal and killer Jeffrey Dahmer. Dahmer was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on May 21st of 1960. He was born to Lionel and Joyce Dahmer. Jeffrey had only one brother, David Dahmer. Dahmer had a rough upbringing. His father was away with his university teachings, and his mother had depression and had attempted suicide while Dahmer was young. So very obviously, he grew up without having anyone really there for him. Dahmer was a happy child, very energetic and outgoing until he had a sudden hernia surgery just before his 4th birthday, and after that, Dahmer changed.
In grade school, Dahmer was quiet and lonely. One of his teachers had commented that he seemed abandoned. With his mother's mental issues and his father's studies, he had no one. Joyce Dahmer's mental issues got even worse when she became pregnant with her second child, David. Jeffrey's strange behaviors began one day at dinner with his family. Joyce had prepared chicken for dinner, and Jeffrey asked what would happen if you placed chicken bones in bleach. Dahmer's father was pleased with Jeffrey's scientific interest and showed Jeffrey how to safely bleach and preserve animal bones. This led Jeffrey into showing extreme interest in collecting and preserving animal bones. During this time, Dahmer's mother began to take more medications that made her sleep, leaving Jeffrey and David alone.
When Dahmer had reached puberty, he discovered that he was gay, though he kept this quiet from anyone around him. Dahmer did end up having a relationship with another male, but it did not last long. As he grew, curiosity about relationships with males grew. He became interested in the torsos and heads of the human body. His obsession grew, and his interest turned into dissection of the human body. The first time he ever thought of killing someone was a male jogger he had noticed one day. He found this man attractive and had fantasies about rendering him unconscious. One day, Dahmer hid in the bushes with a baseball bat in an attempt to fulfill his fantasies. Luckily for that man, he decided not to run that day, and Dahmer was unsuccessful.
Cut. Throughout Jeffrey's teenage years, he was an outcast in school. Dahmer was a frequent drinker, and he would sneak alcohol to school with him. Dahmer's teachers said that he was very uncommunicative, but was highly intelligent, but had average grades. In an attempt to make friends, Dahmer became the class clown, doing things during class to distract the rest of them, making the class laugh. He made friends and was actually starting to seem normal. The spring after Jeffrey graduated, his parents moved to Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, and Jeffrey had just turned 18 and stayed in the family home.
3 weeks after Jeffrey Dahmer graduated high school, he committed his first murder. On June 18, 1978, Dahmer picked up a hitchhiker named Stephen Hicks, who was
very suiting for what happened.
who was 19. When Dahmer saw Hicks, he said it stirred his emotions and he decided to pick him up. Hicks agreed to go back with Dahmer with the promise of a few drinks. Dahmer had sexual feelings towards Hicks, but when Hicks began talking about women, Dahmer knew that nothing would come of the relationship. When Hicks and Dahmer arrived back at Dahmer's home, they began drinking for a while, and at the end of the night, Hicks wanted to go home, but Jeffrey did not want him to. Dahmer hit Hicks in the back of the head with a 10-pound dumbbell, striking him twice. Hicks fell unconscious, and Dahmer strangled him with the bar of the dumbbell until he passed away. Dahmer dissected his body and scattered the bones in the woodland behind his house, and he dissolved the flesh with acid and dumped it down the toilet.
Wow. After this killing, Dahmer enrolled in Ohio State University to major in business, but within 3 months he dropped out. Dahmer's father then encouraged him to join the military. He was sent to Fort Jackson in South Carolina and was given the opportunity to go anywhere in the country. Dahmer moved to Miami Beach, Florida, where he continued his alcoholism, and he was forced to move back to West Allis, Wisconsin to live with his grandmother. When he moved back, Jeffrey ended up killing more than 16 men and boys over the course of the next 13 years without capture. His youngest victim was 14 years old, and the oldest was 33.
Jeffrey Dahmer was finally caught on July 22nd of 1991.
32-year-old Tracy Edwards was stopped by cops running down the street with handcuffs dangling from one wrist. He claimed Dahmer was trying to kill him and led him to Dahmer's home. Cops arrested Dahmer without a struggle.
Did Dahmer plead innocent or guilty?
Dahmer pleaded guilty but insane on 15 counts of murder.
And what was the ruling on that?
He was ruled sane and sentenced to 16 life sentences.
Where was Dahmer sent?
Dahmer was sent to Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage, Wisconsin.
On November 28th of 1994, Jeffrey Dahmer was beaten to death by a fellow inmate in the showers. When the initial attack happened, Dahmer was alive but in critical condition and was rushed to the hospital, where he died an hour later.
Yo, yo, yo.
What? With handcuffs dangling from his wrist. He claimed Dahmer was trying to kill him. Frick!
What was the ruling?
He was ruled sane and sentenced to 16 life years in prison.
Did Dahmer plead innocent or guilty?
Dahmer pleaded guilty but insane on 15 counts of murder.
What was the ruling?
He was ruled sane.
Ruling on that?
He was ruled sane and sentenced to 16 life sentences.
You're not done!
Dahmer sent.
Dahmer was sent.
Would you wait until I move the microphone to you? He's talking, the microphone's still over here.
Action.
No, don't get close to it.
Action.
Get do how you would do
She's our
normally.
director now. Okay.